Downclimbing is something that often happens during a scramble. Here's how I decide if I should face in or face out during a downclimb. Hello again, I'm Jason. Downclimbing, unless it's happening on pretty inconsequential terrain, is awkward. Of course, on really low angle terrain, we will feel at ease facing out and away from the wall as we move down the slope. The opposite is also true. On more vertical terrain, we will typically feel more comfortable facing in, towards the wall. This video is about the gray area. How do I decide when to face in or face out in situations where neither option is self-evidently better? This will happen a lot on scrambles. On big vertical walls, we are often using ropes and rappelling our way down. On lots of easy terrain that doesn't require much use of our hands, it's basically a hike. But on Class 3, as designated by needing to use handholds, and Class 4, designated by more severe consequences of a fall and the need for more precise foot placements, we often go up without a rope and therefore might not have a roped option for heading down. And scrambles will often have body length sections that might feel close to vertical, but certainly aren't long enough for most people to take the time to get a rope system deployed. So, if we are going to scramble, we may want to have an approach in mind for when we face moderate steepness on the way down. The thing that passes through my mind first is how to position myself to see my feet. Downclimbing puts a lot of emphasis on your feet because you have to spend more time on bent arms, which is the hardest arm position to sustain. Normally, when we climb up, we try to keep our arms straight when we can. That demand on our feet taking more of our weight as we move down means that we need to get those foot placements right. On more vertical terrain, when facing in, I can just look down, see my feet, and still find the right foot placements. By facing in, I'm keeping my hands in a more natural climbing position and also can climb spans that run from my feet all the way to a fully extended arm. If I'm facing out, I will be using more mantling positions, with my hands pressing downwards rather than hanging on. That means I can only span across holds that are less than a body length apart. But as soon as the slope angle of the wall starts to get less steep, my feet are now being placed on spots I cannot see if I'm facing in. My body blocks my view. I now will entertain facing out. Time to consider the foothold types. I need to be able to fit my heels, which are less precise than my toes, and my palms, which are less precise than my fingers, onto holds, so blocky or slabby terrain makes sense. If I only have small edges to use, or if the terrain is loose and so I will have little ball bearings under my feet, I will likely still be facing in. And finally, there is the hybrid method, facing sideways. In reality, I very rarely face sideways and just stay that way. Usually I twist back and forth from sideways to out to in and back to sideways as needed. Facing sideways helps me the most when there are really big steps down, and so I need the added length of that fully extended arm, or when I want to face in but need to pivot a lot to eye my foot placements. Choosing whether to face in, out, or sideways on a downclimb is often going to come down to personal preference, as dictated by your body type and the terrain features you are finding. But we've found that having a few rules of thumb, such as described in this video, can help us be more purposeful about our decisions and therefore increase our margins of safety. For me, being able to see my foot placements is key. We wouldn't climb up without eyeing our holds, so we probably shouldn't climb down without the ability to do the same if we are on terrain where the consequences of a fall could mean injury or worse. Got a good downclimb story? Tell it to us in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and share if you want to support us. For more information, you can go to our website at www.shortguysbetaworks.com. You can check out last week's video that includes some situations that may make smart use of a rope on downclimbs, or check out our whole technical scrambling series. We'll see you next week and keep on getting more out of that big outside.